All right. A few. Just for fun, though. Who wrote the thing there? Tick tock. Who wrote that? Tick tock.
Can I say that?
Yes. Very good. Explain.
24-hour clock, if it was 1800 hours plus another 9, would bring you to 3 a.m. in the morning. So
Okay.
can I go? Is that right?
Okay. Yes, he's smart. Now, lucky. Okay. Now, see, this operation we do every day. Yes, this operation when we want to count, it's so many hours, what time is it going to be, we do this, right? Just to show you how a very common thing, we practice all the time, we don't think about it, right? And we only know the 27, right? So that's a typical way to problematize even in mathematics, because mathematics operates on presupposition. And just for fun, to conceptualize this, because I forgot while I'm discussing, I told you there were 3 competencies: to deepen, to problematize, or criticize, to explain. The third one is to conceptualize. To conceptualize is when asked to produce one word, like we did with conditional, indicative, right? Now, why is it important? It's not a problem of vocabulary. When you conceptualize, you clarify the thinking, yeah? And you get words out of anonymity. The word becomes strong. The concept is a key word. It's a screaming word, a word that's powerful. That's why it's important to work on tight things and get concepts out. And just to do a little conceptualization exercise, Darren has given meaning to that operation, which sounded strange initially, was meaningless, senseless, was false. A kid would say that in school, say, okay, wrong, right? He has given meaning to it. And I would like, who can identify how come it makes sense that it is 3, beside the example of the time, but why is it that what makes that with time, you can say this, which you cannot in our usual way of counting. In other words, who can identify the difference with this counting here and the usual counting? You can try to do it, conceptualize it, identify exactly what makes the difference. Anybody wants to try to do it? You want to do it? Go ahead.
I'm not sure if this is...
Stop now. Stop. Okay? Alright, I'm not sure. Now, by the way, you know why it's important? Because, you see, we almost apologize with this one. In our job, by definition, we're not sure because everything is conjecture. But when we deal with knowledge, we deal with certitude. So we have, when we're not sure, I'm not sure, yes? And that's, so it's not to pick on this, but to see how we function, yeah? It's funny, right?
Yes.
Yes, okay. Because these how do you say it? French, these tics of language, how do you think these like, idiosyncrasies is a sophisticated word. You don't have a common word for these?
Yes, we do, I can't remember.
Thank you. Very useful. By the way, look at the funny one. How do you know if you don't remember? Like the child. Okay, how much is 2 plus 2? I know, I can't remember. Okay, very good. No, this is a funny one.
I know you, but I can't remember your name.
Big pardon?
It's like saying I know you, but I don't remember your name.
Well, can you know me without knowing my name?
Yes.
All right, so that's another problem. But then you say, you know what the word is, but you don't remember the word.
Yes.
But that makes sense?
It does to me.
Thank you. The last 2 words, what did you say?
Together.
Good, I'm seeing you're becoming quick. Excellent. Okay? But see, it's difficult, right? And again, I invite, to this precisely. There's a big difference between the area of reason and opinion. Reason, by definition, is something of the universal order, right? When something is reason, like logic, then you can always say what is really universal knowledge, but the principle is that it's universal. We all share it. Your feelings, somebody, okay, I feel bad about this, well, what can I do? I can't criticize it, I cannot doubt it, I can't do anything. You tell me you feel, right? It's like saying, I'm in love with so-and-so, okay, well, who am I to say you're not in love? I can't do anything. But with reason, we share it, it's universal, right? Descartes says that reason is the most widely, the most widely shared thing in the world. is reason. Because that's the way, like I said, it doesn't belong to you, to me. It belongs to humanity, it belongs to no one, right? In a way. And that's what's important, to move from belief, from feelings, to moving toward something called reason. You know, whatever it is, but I think this concept speaks to you. Right? And that's what the to me, you know, is precisely, okay, I'm not into reason. And often when people precisely speak to themselves, that's what they say, you know, they speak to themselves. Reason means I speak to the others. They don't have to share my view, but they have to understand. If they don't understand, then I have a problem. Not that we don't share the same opinion, that doesn't matter. That we don't share the same, it doesn't matter. But that we understand each other, that matters, you see. And that's what's so important. Distinguish, I agree, I don't agree, and I understand. Right? In other words, to discuss, we don't have to agree, but we have to understand each other. Yes? So we share it. So, anyway, so 18 planetically, who can tell the difference of what, oh sorry, yes, you were not sure. Now you're you're going to survive to your own insecurity and tell us
Can you just
what makes
remind me what the exact question was?
what makes that there's a different results with the normal operation here? What's going on here?
Okay, in the 24-hour clock system, the sequential, I suppose, progression resets at 24.
Okay, I want one word to describe this, and then we'll oppose it to one word for the other system. Can you put a word to that, an adjective?
One word.
Yeah. It is, that system of counting is one word. You want to qualify?
Circular.
Circular. Our usual way of counting, is it circular?
No.
It is?
Sequential. Or linear.
So you brought all your mothers along, huh? You know? Now, when they speak for you, is it so that you feel better or that they feel better? What do you think? Why do they do this, you think?
They're probably doing it. I don't know for sure. I can't know for sure.
How can you survive this hard life with all this insecurity? Yeah.
They're probably doing it for a bit of both.
A bit of both. You're Australian, right? With the speed at which they're doing it, see how fast it comes? You think that with you or with themselves? More. Which one?
Themselves.
Yeah. Like you say, hey, just think about me a bit, tell them.
Yeah. Just think about it.
So one is, you said, what's the word you used? Circular? And the other one is?
Linear.
Linear, okay, very important, yes. Fundamental, and in fact, look how huge this conceptual distinction is, right? Are things circular, are things linear? Huge, or cyclical linear, very important, yes? And what's the second difference as well? You said it in a way, but you didn't pay attention to it. What's the other difference there is in that system? You said it's circular and now it's linear. You notice another thing? Well, it's funny because that's typical. See, conceptualization means not only I say things, but it's clear, it's there. Because you said it in a way, but you didn't pay attention to your own.
Yeah.
Remember?
No,
okay.
I mean,
who knows what's the other difference between being circular and linear? What's the other difference here compared to the normal system? Yeah, no. Oh, maybe I'm raising my hand. Okay. Raise your hands, the ones who have an idea. Raise it. One. You raise your hand. Okay. And that's someone who didn't speak much. What's the other difference?
Mark, do you know what the other difference is?
If one has a start and a finish, then the other one just goes on continuously.
So, when something has a start and a finish, what's the word here? And the other one, the other one is easier. What's the other one? Did you say the other one is? One has a start and a finish, and the other one
It's continuous.
is continuous. Yes? When something doesn't have a start and a finish, you say it is? So, not yet. When something does not have a start and a finish, you say it is? Who has, you see, that's interesting. And one starts something, but how we're missing something still. Who can say it? That's interesting. You describe it. One has a start and a finish, and the other one does not. What are the two words here? Raise your hand if you have an idea. Oh, okay, you have friends here, and that's, you inspired me. Yeah? And as someone who doesn't speak much, say, okay, hey, keep your hand up for 1 minute. And that's one, what are the 2 words? Yes, go ahead.
And what are the 2 words?
Definite and infinite.
Which, infinite.
Oh, sorry, finite and infinite.
All right, is one finite and one infinite.
Yes.
Was she good? How about you?
Smart. Very good.
You're smart, you like it better. Yeah, look at how good she is. Do they often tell you you're smart, Anna?
Yeah.
Oh, you're used to your blasé, you're used to it. Okay, all right. Yeah, okay. An infinite. Who sees another difference? See another difference? Raise your hand. If you keep your hand up, if you see another difference. I always do this, I wait to see, first of all, to give a chance to the slow ones and see how many have an answer. 2, 3. Raise hand. You put it down or you still have it up? Okay, put it up, okay? It won't be long, don't worry, but you keep it up. You can use the other hand if you really get tired. Okay, okay? Alright, somebody to speak? Yes?
I would say ending and unending.
Okay, ending and unending. Is it the same thing as finite infinite or it's different?
In that context, similar.
You see what you start with, huh? Alright?
I'm going to say similar.
Similar, so you like to repeat, right? Well, do the children in your class, do they like to repeat what the other one says?
Yes.
Yes, who teaches them to repeat, alright? Funny, huh? Okay, so. Who sees another difference? Raise your hand. Okay, who can speak much? Let's see. Alright, okay, yes.
Context. It's in a different context. because
Okay,
the
then
numbers-
what are the 2 different contexts?
Well, when you have, I would normally say 18 plus 9 is 27. If I saw that, just,
Can you tell your friend to listen? She doesn't even have it. Can you tell her?
no, I'm just kidding.
See, I teach kids very simple. This is, you know, I tell the kid, this doesn't help to listen. See, even you block your ear. And it's hard to concentrate listening and put the hand up, right? I see this, so I like this rule. Somebody speaks, we put the hands down. You like that?
Yeah.
Difficult?
No.
Did you show it was easy?
Yes.
Did you have the hand up while she was speaking?
Yes.
So is it easy to put the hand down while she's speaking? Well, why don't you do it?
It's down.
Okay.
Isn't it?
I don't know.
This is
Look
a
where it is.
philosophical-
Look where it is. So what's the difference of context?
It's context.
Yeah, but see, that's
Because-
called an undifferentiated concept, what you do. If it's a context, you have to say, this, the context is called A, the context here is called B. What is A and B?
A is in the context of measuring time,
Yeah,
and B is in numbers per se.
numbers per se, and now I'm measuring time. So then what's the difference?
Well, the difference is that if you had more information,
No.
no,
No if.
no, because
No if. No. No if. See, once you have produced something, you have to finish the job. Don't start going elsewhere. Just finish it, okay? You know the kids they start something and
Yeah,
you don't
yeah.
finish, you go somewhere else? Seen them do this? They start a job, instead of finishing it, they start something else. They do this or no? Oh, you're Australian. If they do it sometimes, then do they do it?
yes,
You see? But why do we use sometimes? Because yes, they do this, right? Right? Funny, huh? So, what is the difference between saying one, you said, is counting time, and the other one is numbers per se, remember?
yeah, just numbers.
All right. So what's the difference? The two concepts?
Well, they're numbers for a specific purpose. If you're using them for numbers for time, it's different. It's a different understanding. It's a different.
Yeah, but different is like other. It means nothing. I'm telling you, you know, can you compare these two persons? Well, they're different. Did I tell you anything?
Yes, they're not the same.
Okay, did you notice the difference now between them two? See, what's the difference? What is the difference between them two? You see a difference or not?
Yes.
Which one?
Well, and short.
Alright, and therefore the other one is?
Taller.
Alright, now I know the difference. Difference means nothing. It's different. I don't know what it means. If you tell me there's a difference, one is shorter and one is smaller, then I know. Then it's meaningless. So, how are they different?
Well, the time one has a specific purpose.
It has a specific purpose. How about the other one?
It is more general in application.
It is more general. How do you oppose, what is the concept you oppose to general?
Specific.
Specific. One is general and one is specific. You see? Now we see the difference. General, specific. We good? Yes, no? Yes. Let's verify. Who accepts her thesis? Raise your hand.
Oh, you bastards, put your hand in.
Who does not accept her thesis? Raise your hand. And who has no clue? Raise your hand. And who's sleeping? Raise your hand. Linda, how come you never raise your hand? Oh, that's good news. Do you play football? Well, I don't know much about Aussie rule, but imagine a guy, hey, you didn't move on the ball. Wow, I'm thinking. I'm a philosopher, What's a ball? I don't know. What's a field? Do we exist? Would you recruit on the football team? No. All right? No? And by the way, with the kids, that's a good way to know to be here. I mean, definition of philosophizing, to be here. Not in the past, not in the future, not elsewhere, here, now, right away. Are you here? Right? And of course it's difficult. And you'll find different kind of difficulties. And one difficulty are the kids always, they're always, they're, the ones who are thinking, right? Elsewhere, yes? They're still in the lesson before, or like with little children, when you say, okay, why do we eat? 4 years old, why do we eat? Well, we eat because we're hungry, we eat. Another one, there is his hand. My daddy went on a trip. Yeah, he's thinking. He's thinking, his daddy went on a trip. Think about his daddy, right? Okay. Yeah, so it's laser. Star Wars? Star Wars?
Oh.
Have you seen Star Wars?
Yes.
Yes, laser. Boom, Darth Vader, Darth doesn't go like that. Otherwise you lose, And the Empire Strikes Back. So, laser. The mind has to be. And that's a practice like martial art. Gesture is fundamental. And a slight gesture which is not appropriate, boom, you get the thing in the forehead. You like martial arts? Okay, thank you. Okay? Yeah, that's the thing, right? To really be here, present to the other, right? And you learn that, right? You're really there. Because you have to be conscious of yourself and of the other. And when we start, daydreaming, imagination, we're not present to the other anymore. That's, these people that you speak to them, but they're not really there. You know this? Okay. I didn't mean to do it, but I'm glad you have honesty at least. Yeah, of course. But, and that's the point. See, you'll find as you do this, what's the interest of all this? You will find different thinking obstacles. That's what we want to do. That's a beautiful one here, and that's a classical one. But the problem of one is not the problem of the other. One is sort of not really there now, and the other one, for example, will look more like Anna. He's always there. Too much here. Say, hey, don't be there a little bit. Stay aside a little bit. Take a break,
I keep eating, just
So you will identify, they're conscious of different, functioning and different dysfunctionings, and the advantage that you have a plurality, so you can identify different things. So it's interesting, right? So we were finding. Okay, so last thing, just anybody else notices a difference between the two? Let's see, opposing. Yes, Darren.
The place value for digits in our numerical system, the place value operates in a system of 10. Whereas in
10, and here what are we with?
It's different. It's 24.
24. All right. One is 10 decimal, and one is 24. All right. It's now the difference. You see. And that what's happening? We discover that mathematics is not so univocal as we thought, but that there's presupposition. Your decimal system, your 24 system, linear, cyclical, finite, infinite, right? And then we discovered mathematics. I was discussing outside on the smoking section there on the neighbor's lawn. That we're discussing about the problem of time. There is of saying, well, if I do philosophy, then I'm not doing something else. Well, you see, we're doing mathematics here. So philosophy is not anymore, it's not a subject in itself, it's more a teaching method, right? We've done this on mathematical problem, we've done it on a grammar problem before, we could do it on a history problem, you could do absolutely anything. It is not a subject, it's how to teach. Teaching through meiotics, questioning, through getting the kids to fight with it, and not just learning, but analyzing, comparing, problematizing, conceptualization. And that's the important. Otherwise you'll say, God, I have already all these, subjects, all these little processes I have to do. I have to do this one as well? No, it is just a different approach to teaching, right? Which does not exclude to have different modes of teaching, but there are moments, there are moments where, let's say you do a lesson, about anything, science lesson, and you can say, okay, kids, there's a question. What's the main thing you learned in that lesson? And everybody's supposed to write a little one sentence. Then you take one sentence, you listen to all the sentences, and you say, okay, who thinks there's something wrong, critical thinking, yeah? Who thinks there's something wrong in what one of your friends has said? And so they're supposed to listen, to each other, and find who you think there's a kid that didn't get the point of the lesson, right? And say why not, who agrees, who disagrees. So you get them to learn the lesson, or to think about it, or to dwell into it by producing hypotheses, right? And so coming to this, I wanted to show you a bit. I promise I don't have. I read books. They're translated in many languages. There are about 20 languages, but not in English. I have not much luck with the English-speaking culture for different reasons. Because it's in Japanese, in Korean, in French, in Hebrew, in Arabic, but not English. So, but I want to show you anyhow some of the stuff. If you're in Korean, I have some. I have some French. But let me show you a little bit how this works, because it shows you a bit the structure I use to do this job. It's a bit, you'll recognize what we're doing. There's a book, La Vie, which means life. What is life, right? So the idea, what is life? So I choose 6 major questions about life. I chose why do we live? How can you be happy in life? Why is life so hard? Why does man exist? Why do we die? And will you be a champion later on, right? So these are, trying to think, 6 questions. And I did this by working with the children. Ask them what kind of question you ask yourself, this kind of thing. Comparing with philosophers, and now with 6 questions. Now, each question has why do we live? Right? See? So the question is important. It's worth 2 pages just for that question. Because the question is fundamental. You can meditate on it, why do we live? In itself, it's sufficient. It's worth 2 pages, just meditate, contemplate ideas, right? So then I give different hypotheses, like what we got. First hypothesis, do we like that one? Why do we live? To work, yes? That's what we teach the kids a lot, Life is your work, so life is for work, right? So then, with this hypothesis, I have secondary questions, called yes but, yes but. So first question, do you live to work or do you work to live? In other words, what is the problem here? What is the mean? What is the end? How's the question of means and the end? Do we work to live or do we live to work, right? Because sometimes there's a typical confusion. We mix up the means and the end. Second question, finally, what is the use of working? So examine what different reasons to work. To survive, to keep busy, to accomplish something, what are the different reasons to work? Third, how about if you don't like to work? Yes? In other words, is it possible to problematize? Is it possible that you don't like to work? What do? Do you have to do it or you don't have to do it? Right? No? So some people are not coming when school starts again, you know why? They have not. Okay? If you're missing half the crew, that's cool. It's a good sign, okay? Okay? And the fourth question, how about if you don't have a job? Right? In other words, think, okay, what do you do then? What's the paradox? Right? You have to work, but no job. So these are the way to look at the problems there is of the idea that we live to work. So that's to problematize, yeah? So the idea that the children can answer first step could answer the secondary question. There's no answer. Huh? Don't go at the end of the book. No answer, right? Try to produce different answer. That's the kid. But the idea that the kids get better, they can produce new hypotheses, or they can produce new question, or they can even produce a whole book. You know, by the idea, if you have a theme, produce questions, produce different hypotheses, produce questions, right? And that's structure here for me. I try to say, what is the structure of thinking? Because somebody said that we do it formally, because thinking, philosophizing, has a lot to do with organizing the thinking. Ideas, we all have millions of ideas. But to philosophize is to organize these ideas, to make connections, to make oppositions, right? Structuring has a lot to do with structuring. Right? In other words, to look at the order of words. You know? Order of idea. Second hypothesis, how can you say this in English? To take advantage of life. Does that make sense? Yeah? To take advantage of life, or to enjoy life.
To make the most of all opportunities.
Okay, to make the most of it. Something like this. Okay? Yes, but. You see, you have the flower in the mouth. You know? Okay. So, yes, but. Can you profit of life? No, Can you benefit from life? Enjoy? Something like this. Can you, all the time? Can you do this all the time? Yes? Or there's sometimes you can't because you have to or whatever. So, can you always, profit, benefit from life? Second, can you learn to benefit from life? Okay? Is this something you can learn or no? You just learn, right? And of course, if you can learn it, then how do you learn this? Thirdly, does everyone profit from life, right? If you look outside, there's busy people, they have to, I have to go to work, I have to go shopping, I have to watch television, I have to. You like that one? All these I have to, And there's never I decide. It's always I have to. Like if the whole world was, a series of obligations one after the other, And so the question is, do you always, And fourth thing, is that sufficient to fill up life? In other words, to benefit from life, is that the reason to exist? Or is there something else to life than that, right? Okay? Fourth, okay? Why do you live? Because my parents met, right? Okay, that's a causal explanation. Yes, causal explanation. Yes, but do parents choose their children? Yes, in other words, they choose that the fact will come. Third, what would happen, and children love that, what would happen if you were not born? Yes, in other words, what would happen? So it's like almost metaphysical, question. Yes, Thirdly, is it only our parents that make us? In other words, are we there because our parents made us, or is there some other explanation? Whatever, God, nature, whatever you want. So it is to go beyond an immediate thing. I'm here because my parents, made me, right? Fourth, why do we live? In order to have children. Yes, very common thing. Mother is busy. Oh, that's work. Takes care of the children. So the pressure of her whole life is to have children. And by the way, one job I do, which is not at all due to pedagogy, because I started working with kids not so long ago, a few years ago. But I was very much specialized working with adults. And one of my jobs is to do what I call philosophy consultation. I don't know if you people have people seen our website? No, okay. I have a website. I show some videos of it. Well, somebody comes to see me and say, okay, I'm not happy, I have everything to be happy, I'm not happy, why? So for 1 hour, it's like a workshop for one person, and you get the person to think through that, what's going on, this kind of thing. And a classical thing I see is a woman, 50, saying, okay, my kids are gone, maybe my husband's gone, so why do I exist, right? And that's the very classical one. The impression I existed for my children, gone, I don't see them, maybe they don't say thank you, whatever, but impression that I have no reason to exist. And now it can be with the children, it can be with the work, men, trouble, they retire, impression don't exist, no more job, or this kind of thing. So it's very important to say, why do you so? To have children. Now, question, yes, but do you make a children for yourself or for him? That's a terrible question to answer. Yes, you enjoy that. Okay, so why do you have children? Yeah? And of course, it's tricky stuff. If you ask yourself, you see it's difficult. Yeah. Second question: are you less alive if you don't give life? In other words, if life is to give life, then are you less alive because you don't give life? In other words, is giving birth to children an obligation? Or are you less alive for this? Third, can you live through your children? In other words, if you live in order to have children, can you live through?
Oh, that's right. I'm just. I'm
So
answering.
you moved with all this question. I'll make a photocopy for you. For Korean or French? French. So, can you live through your children? Do you say this in English? In French we say vivre par procuration. To live by procuration.
Vicariously. Vicariously.
Oh, okay, vicariously, yeah. To live, and that's a very classical thing. To live vicariously. Now, it can be your children, it can be your football team, it can be anything, you know. People say they seem to exist when they're at a football game, so they can live through the football players, you know, or rugby or whatever. You know, okay. Fourth, why do we live? Because we're in good health. Another biographer mentioned, I'm living because I'm in good health, so very hygienical. Yeah? Yes, but do you choose to be in good health? In other words, where's your will? Where's your free will in this? Right? Because health doesn't seem to be depending on you. Is it sufficient to live well in your body to live well? In other words, is the body sufficient as a reason to be? Thirdly, do you stop existing when you're sick? Which is an interesting question. When you're sick, how much of an impression you don't like it? Impression you don't exist, right? That's it. Then what about a handicapped person who has, physical problem? Does means you don't exist anymore? What do you tell your child, right? When there's a cold, there's a bad mood, well, what about if you, have some kind of terrible disease? Now, why do we live? Another one hypothesis. So, in order that the others are not alone. Yes? Yes? You live for the others, right? Yeah? Not alone? Then, question, yes, but do we need each other? Yeah? Think about it. Do we need each other? Yeah? Do you live for yourself or for the others? And that you have two kinds, right? The people that live for themselves or live for the others. But that's a good question to ask, right? Third, would the other be the same if you are not here? In other words, are you really necessary? Yeah? Huh? Like that? Yes. Are you necessary?
Yes.
Hope so.
Yes.
Well, hope's not. Hope that's in church. Yeah, here, not church. Right? Here, do you think you're necessary? Yes, no? Do you ask the others?
Actually, no.
Tell her she's not necessary. She doesn't know.
Nobody.
Anyway, that's to take home. It's the McDonald's.
It's very big for us.
Okay. Anyway, so that's and then conclusion, right? But that's been the idea. When you go through this, you go through the conclusion. That's one I want to show
Can
you.
we translate that into English? Why is it in English? Considering it's a universal language, it's just very interesting.
What unit?
Yeah, but see, I tell you, for me it's very interesting why these things are in 20 languages. We have publishers, but we have none, neither American nor English nor Australian. I was discussing with an Australian publisher last time I came. I said, no, we don't think. Basically, I don't think people are going to buy it, right? That's what it's a big Australian
So
publisher.
what Australians don't think?
No, but it's in all English languages, nobody has wanted to publish those, right? Like they're even in Croatian, they're in any very small language, but not in English, right? So yeah, once I got, I got a couple of interesting. One was English publisher said this is too French for us. And the other from the Americans.
They know that.
No, but they said this is the Americans said this is too intellectual drawings for us. The illustrations. Too intellectual, So anyway.
What's called Greek?
It's in Greek, yeah. You read Greek?
Yes.
Oh, I gave it to Emmanuel. You know Emmanuel Skoutas? You were okay. I had two in Greek. I think I gave it to him. I will look. I still have in Greek. Yes, it's in Greek. And so the other thing I want to show you is I write school books in France, elementary school books. It's in the I guess here you have a language book for the kids. You have a language book, English language book, right? So
Yeah.
same thing.
Some schools do. This doesn't actually have language books, but some schools have textbooks.
Okay, so.
Not in France.
Some schools do.
All right. Anyway, in France, we have a language book, which generally it it is the classical thing. They have a whole number of small texts the children can read. Then you have one thing about reading, spelling,
Yeah.
grammar,
Yeah, yeah.
vocabulary, you know?
We have, but we don't use them in this school, but we
Okay,
do
but
have.
you got it. What are they called? Language books?
Yeah.
Yeah, so, but then, these, I don't write the language part, I don't know anything about it. I'm not a specialist, but they asked me to introduce philosophy in the language book. So what I did is each text, and so you can use this as a form, not a book, but the concept. Each text there is, for example, there's a story, an African story about how mosquitoes were born, you know, it's a legend. So I put what I call the little philosophy workshop. I invent 7 questions that invite the child, some of them, to think why one did this, do you agree with that one, you know, to philosophize about the text, and then go outside of the text and see consequences. Let's see, it talks about freedom, ask the question, are we always free, this kind of thing. It's just 7 questions. But the main thing then is for the teacher, for each text, I say, what is philosophical about it? The principle is that in all texts you can find some philosophical issue, basically, right? Then how to lead this, but especially, and this actually I could translate it, it's easy, I invent exercises. Exercises, for example, okay, this one there was a comparison story with man and animal, so the exercise is the following. Do man and animal, are they alike or not alike on the following points? And then there's different points. Eating with your hands, express yourself, walk on 4 legs, climb in the trees, fly in the air, play, work, swim, live in family, live in society. And on each of those points, the children have to compare animals and human beings. Are they like, not alike, right? Another one will say, it's argument evaluation. Okay, I ate. And then 10 reasons why I ate. I ate because they told me to. I ate because the bell rang. I ate because I was hungry. I ate because it's Monday. And I give 10 reasons. I say, does this argument, is it legitimate? Is it valid? Is it not valid? The kids have to say. In general, they can all be valid for some reason and invalid for some reason. So it's to evaluate arguments, right? Other would be logical exercise. So it is a whole bunch of exercise. Why? Because I've noticed that a general discussion is very difficult because you have to work on competencies, because teachers say, I don't know what kind of question to ask. I don't know what kind of question. So by working on this, we work on specific competencies, like making judgments, you know, and one is called moral dilemma. You know moral dilemma? You know, for example, there's a man who has no money. He wants to feed his children. He's going to steal food in the store. They put him in jail, all right? End of the story. Is it right? Is it wrong? You know, right? So you moral dilemma. So the idea is to, by producing specific exercise, it allows the teacher to work on specific competencies: argumentation, problematization, making judgment, interpretation, you know, this kind of thing, right? So this. So the idea is to give you some ideas on how, but the thing of making precise things, because you know, there's a danger, there's a tendency, which might be a problem, that to philosophize is just to discuss. Now, of course, we've been discussing it, but discussion by itself is not making that we philosophize. Because you can have a whole exchange of opinion. Why not? It's fun, you know, but something else, right? Philosophize means you have to work on specific competencies, you have to be conscious of what you're saying, you have to deepen, you have to examine, you have to use critical thinking, right? And that's one thing through exercise to make sure we're not just having an exchange of opinions, right? You know. Now, of course, in a classroom there can be moments for that. Okay, let's have a debate, and everybody says his opinion about something. It can be useful too, you know. But you have to be clear, and I will distinguish. And I don't know the practice you have in schools here, but in French example, I distinguish philosophical discussion with different things. First of all, it's not an exchange of opinion. That's something else. Secondly, it's not a class. Do you have something we call a class council? You know, there's a class and they decide on solving problems. Yeah, two kids have been fighting, so the class meets. What do we do about this? We do this?
Yes,
What do you call
yes.
that?
A conflict resolution.
Okay, conflict resolution. That's something else. Conflict resolution, you want to come to a solution, apply it, solve it. Philosophy, no. We want to identify problems, clarify them. Maybe there's a solution, but it's not geared towards solution. So that's another exercise. Other discussion exercise is the teacher who wants to verify if the kids have learned the lesson. Very useful. But as well, that's something else as well. You say, okay, you got it good, you got it bad. That's another exercise, yes? So there are different ways to discuss. Each one has their specific purpose. There can be brainstorming. Brainstorming is not good. Okay, let's throw ideas around. It's still useful, but it's not. Right? So just to say this, so we be careful that what we do when we're discussing. Now, it's not always so clear-cut, but to give you some indication. Anyway, so these are some practical tools that I wanted to show you. What we can do. Is there, while on these practical things, do you have questions or comments that you have right now? That you have in your mind?
No, I do, because I'm actually really pleased that you actually made the comment that children.
Can I ask you to speak a bit louder?
I'm sorry, I'm really pleased that you actually made the comment that philosophy for children isn't a program but a strategy or a teaching tool, because I think a lot of people are under the assumption that, you know, when we do a philosophy, it's a philosophy program, and so we're thinking, and I've had concerns with that, in that I would hope that the only time we do not do our thinking, I would hope that we do not only think when we do philosophy. So the tool that we use in philosophy for children is really a tool that we should be reinforcing in every other subject. And so doing something like that, mathematics, was a very good point in moving on.
Right. By the way, there's one thing, yes, so we don't want to insult people and say, okay, that means that when I do, I don't think when I do teach something else. So just to, I say that, you know, the difference between philosophy and, of course, when I go shopping, I think, you have to think about soap, about whatever cereals, I think, yes. So just to
yeah, no, I'm just
people,
thinking that clarification was really quite,
yeah.
was a very quite strong point.
Okay, so to finish on this, I'd say I was proposing the idea that philosophizing, the specificity of thinking in philosophizing is to think about the thinking. Yes? In mathematics, I think about numbers. In biology, I think about life. In philosophy, you think about thinking. Now, the thinking about thinking can be useful in each subject. In mathematics, there's one where the moments where we're going to be doing meta. You use this meta level thing, okay? What is the method we've been using to solve that problem, right? What has been the problem? And I'll give you an example, by the way, in mathematics, to show how we can use it. Once I was coming to a classroom, to the workshop, and they were finishing mathematical or math class. And you know these exercises, probably you do, it's a bit universal, but where from, you say, okay, John has 7 marbles, Mary has 5 more, Peter has 4 less, and altogether you have 35 marbles, all right? You know? Don't write it, I'm not asking you to do this. But anyway, you know this, you do this kind of exercise, right? Okay, so, classical. So the kids had done that, and one was writing on the board, and he was doing it on the board, right? And something wrong about it. And then the teacher says, okay, who wants to do something? And the kids start saying, well, what you have to do, he says. And they won't stop there. Before you say what he has to do, who can identify what was the problem of this boy? So different try, but every time they don't want to tell him the problem. They say, what you have to do. They want to tell him. And they say, look, how come nobody can identify the problem? And then the teacher said, I tell you the truth, he says, I don't know what his problem is. I know what he should do, but I don't know what his problem is. I could not explain, identify the problem. And see, and that's the whole point. See? But identifying this problem, first of all, it's interesting in itself. It's not solution is good, but problems are interesting too, at least as much. Second, if you don't deal with this, you will never deal with this boy's problem, because you tell him what to do, but you haven't dealt with this reasoning problem, right? So you don't value problems, right? So that's what's important in mathematics. So, but when we do this in a certain way, I don't know if it's mathematics anymore or if it's epistemology, you know, philosophy of science in a certain way. But we need this, you know, it's methodology, right? And at the same time, pedagogically, you will find out this boy has a problem. Maybe he's not the only one. So instead of you repeating for the 100th time, I told you that's not the way you know that. That's not the way. That's the way to do it, right? And you get tired. Well, today we're going to spend the time to enjoy the beautiful problem of Paul. And most likely he's not. The problem of one is never the problem of one. It's always the problem of different. But instead of trying to get rid of the problem, because we have a big curriculum, because we have many things to do, let's look at the problem. Let's just enjoy the problem. Yes? That's right. And therefore, you see, maybe you lose time. You have the impression of losing time with that. So, anyway, thinking, there's something particular about the thinking, and that allows us to explain the connection to other subjects. You know. And you can do this with grammar. Like try to show, once I had a funny thing like this about adjectives, and then the kid raised an adjective. I said, "What's the adjective?" And he pointed to a verb. And these kids were 10 years old. I said, "Oh, what is an adjective?" I said, "See this." And he could not say. And nobody in the classroom could say it was an adjective. And I saw the teacher pulling his hair out. He says, "We spent the last month looking at adjectives, and I don't understand what's happening. When I ask them to do adjectives, they can do this." Yes, but you've given very formal exercise, but you never started going, what is an adjective? And just let's stop a moment. Let's try to see what it is. And this happens often, right? You learn certain type of operations, certain type of things, but you don't start going too deep in this thing, this kind of thing, right? So anyway, that's, yes, to relate this to a subject. Yes. But then the time issue. Oh, it takes time. Yes, it takes time. What? You want to argue? Okay, argue.
It may take time to go through the process, but you actually do cover the content. So I think as teachers, we sometimes need to not so formally think about the content in the smaller picture, but what's the bigger picture of the content we need to cover. Then use the philosophical strategies that, the strategies through philosophy. Kids may spend a lot of time talking and asking questions and analysing, but they also develop that deeper understanding. So you actually achieve a lot more.
All right, why don't you stop here? Let me ask you a quick. What is your name?
Nadia?
Nadia.
Can I?
You told me that you wanted to argue, right?
Oh, no.
Let me no. Did you, yes or no, say you wanted to argue? Did you say this or no?
Probably yes.
What do you mean probably? Did you listen to yourself? You did.
I did say the
So, wait. Just sober. Did you say yes or no?
Yes, I did.
But why did all this circus about that? Maybe why not? Is that a bad word to argue?
No.
No. So, but why do you all this semi-denial thing, right? It's funny, no?
Yes,
You only do this today, you do this other times too?
No.
No? Only today?
Oh, I just did it now, yes.
Okay, so, when you argue with someone, can I presuppose that when you tell someone I will argue, can I presuppose that there's a disagreement with that person? Is that okay to presuppose that?
No.
No. Or you argue when you agree?
No.
Wait a minute. Nadia, let's make, just diaphragm goes down, big deep breath, and listen. I'm going to ask you, I'm going to make a proposition. You tell me either you accept the proposition, you refuse it. Okay? It's a little trick I use to make sure we have the same discussion. Because otherwise it takes the form of the following. You have these two guys. One says, "Oh, I'm going fishing." The other says, "Oh yeah, I thought you were going fishing." No, I'm going fishing. You know that kind of discussions? Yes? I call them all couple discussions, Are you going shopping? No, I'm going shopping. Oh, thank you. Yeah, I should put shopping next time. Thanks. Thanks, much better than fishing. I'll take shopping. Okay. Do you take the credit card? No, I took the credit card. Okay, so I'll make it, the form is the following, right? No, go ahead. Go ahead. What do you want to explain?
Carrie was just saying standard answer.
Okay. Can I propose to you the following thing? Next time she does not understand, let her reconcile herself with her not understanding. Do you like that? Or no?
Yes.
Okay, I'll tell you how you do this. When she said, tell her I did not understand.
I did not understand.
Tell her, work it out.
Oh, thanks.
No, she didn't say it yet. She didn't say it. No, wait. Hold. Don't tell me that. you that story. After. At lunch, you tell your life story. Not now, okay? So tell her, work it out.
Yeah.
All right. Are you okay with that?
Yep.
You teach.
Yes.
Are you okay with telling she work it out, or that bothers you?
Bothers me.
Why?
Well, because they're too dumb.
Thank you. That's exactly the point. When you tell someone work it out, do you show trust or mistrust in him? Simple. When you tell somebody work it out, are you showing trust or mistrust?
Trust.
And when you want to explain to him, you show trust or mistrust?
Mistrust.
Thank you. See? And that's the whole point. I'll reverse things a little bit, right? No. You okay?
No, I don't.
Good. Do you enjoy that problem?
No.
Well, do you want to
Because I
enjoy?
feel
No.
bad.
Do you want to enjoy that problem?
No.
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 So you want to stay sad about this problem? Well, you have to make a choice. Either you're going to enjoy that problem, or you're going to stay sad about it. Which one do you prefer?
To work through the problem.
You don't like problems.
Yes, I do. I do.
Wait a minute. Wait a minute. Somebody that tells me, I say, do you enjoy the problem? He says, well, I work through the problem. Does he prefer the problem or the solution?
I understand what you
Does he prefer the problem or the solution?
which one? Which person?
You
No.
go for both? Yeah, you think too much. Too many desires, too many feelings, too many hopes, too many... Simple. Do you see the distinction between the problem and the solution?
Yes.
Which one do you prefer?
Depends.
Thank you for the... Huh? You want to marry me? Ask me if I want to marry you.
I don't dare.
There again the problem. Why don't you dare?
Sound like creating problems.
What?
I like creating problems.
Go ahead, ask me.
Do you want to marry me?
It depends. See? Right? So, just try it. Do you prefer the problem or the solution? Terrible question, right?
It is a terrible one.
Yes, you prefer this one? You want to die decapitated or hanged? You like that one?
I don't care about that one. I'll go decapitate.
You see, for you to die is not as serious as problems. You see this? Thank you. That's so revealing. Yes? Okay. Talking about dying, no problem. Problem. Ooh. You want to scare me? Don't show me, Friday the 13th. Show me a problem. Yes. You want to go on teaching? You don't want to sell French fries? So, you see? But how problems get such a horrible connotation. Yes. And of course, you can have people outrightly saying, "There's no problem. There's just solution." Oh my God, how boring.
No, but there's a problem.
Do you prefer problems or solution?
Yeah, I like problems.
Do you?
But
I'm not asking if you like problems. I'm asking you if you prefer problems or solution.
I still go back to depends. But
No. Tell you what, this is a gift. That's to take home. It's okay. Now you relax. Everything's fine.
No.
You say, "Thank you, Oscar. You're my best friend. Tell me."
You're my worst enemy.
For Nietzsche, your worst enemy is your best friend. You like that?
Oh, there
You
you
like Nietzsche?
Yes.
Yeah, I believe you.
No.
No. So let's go back to this with all this I was forgetting. Yes. So anyway, just tell her to work it out. Tell her to work it out.
Work it out.
See how trustful she is? Alright, huh? Very important, yeah? And in a certain way, it's believing in the autonomy of the child. Now, of course, if you tell me you come at the beginning of the year and say, "Kids, there's a book, work it out," and you disappear at the end of the year, why not? But the Chinese do this. Let me tell you a Chinese pedagogy story, a Taoist story.
Can I just
So
say
the
that?
second one on the
No,
left. Now, can you relax? Can you just relax?
no. There's a reason why I want to make this point.
Can you now just relax?
So you don't
Take
want
it
to get this point.
easy. You want a coffee? Cup of coffee? Take it easy. It's okay. Let me tell you a Chinese. You like Chinese stories?
Yes.
Just for you. Okay. Chinese story. Pedagogical story. Two students are be ready. This was if you have hard problems, you better go out. This one's really horrible. Okay? Two students are fighting about a cat. The teacher goes by. And one of the two say, "Teacher, can you depart us?" The teacher takes the cat, strangled cat, throws it out, right? Throws it away. And he goes away. What's happening? Somebody's got a problem?
No, no, it's just
Okay.
your face was protesting.
You like that story?
No.
You want me to finish it or I stop?
Finish it.
Okay. You're courageous. Okay. So, the teacher goes away, and one of the students is not happy. Say, teacher, why did you do this? Right? You understand him?
Yes.
Yes, of course. You know what the teacher does? He takes his stick and breaks it on his head. End of the story. Chinese pedagogy, you like?
No.
Okay. Let me ask you just for fun. Who sees the sense of this story? Raise your hand.
It's a
Right.
sense.
The sense, yeah, sense. Who sees the sense of this story? Raise your hand. Keep your hand up for just 1 minute. Ask one of them, hey, explain to me the sense of that story. Somebody raising their hand. Somebody at least speaks so far.
Tess, can you please explain the sense of the story?
The teacher saw an argument, saw a problem about the cat, so to get rid of the problem, got rid of the cat. Therefore.
Okay. How about the second part?
Yeah, I'm not sure that's sorry.
Who the second part? Who can do it? Propose something to the second part. One, two. Raise or do not raise? Don't cheat, huh? You raise or raise.
But I don't want to be picked on. I know.
This is not called picked on. This is called being a friend. This is called. Okay, who raised a hand? Okay, so ask one of them.
Jill, can you please explain the second part of the story?
They didn't learn their lesson, to pose another problem.
Okay. Now, I'm not asking if you like or don't like, if you're pleased or not pleased. Did these two people explain to you, did they give meaning to the story?
Yes, I do.
Does the story make sense with this?
Yes, I
Both of them?
do. Yes.
Tell them they were smart. You know, we're not many people tell them.
You're both very smart and understood the story.
Alright. Now that you understood, you heard, understood, now you can go. Do you agree with the story or
No, I don't.
not? Okay. Why you don't agree with the story?
I found the story a bit brutal.
The story is brutal, okay? Yes. You teach?
Yes.
Is there brutality in your teaching?
Yes.
Good. Are you getting Chinese?
Yes, I am.
All right. What does tell us? What does you think? Give us an insight. What do you think is brutal in your teaching? One example, one thing, one idea. Not all the brutality you do. That would be, of course, but one insight about the brutality you're teaching.
Having to tell students off for their inappropriate behavior.
All right, that's brutal,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
Yes? Now, in that story, did the teacher do that?
No.
No, he did not do this. He did not tell the students the behavior was inappropriate. Yes?
Yes.
Who agrees with her? Raise your hand.
That he didn't
That he did not tell the student his behavior was inappropriate. Who does not agree with her? Raise your hand. And ask someone, why you don't agree with me?
Linda, why do you disagree with me?
The teacher was telling his students their behaviour was inappropriate through his actions.
Did he do this?
Yes.
Is she right?
Yes.
Did she make you change your mind?
She has.
Yes, so tell her that. You made you change my mind.
Think you made me change my mind.
Yes. Do many people tell you this? That you make them change their mind?
No.
No. You're happy you came, right? But you see, I don't know you, but indeed, we don't tell them. Because in other words, we're independent. We know how to think. Nobody's independent to change my mind, right? So I want to show you how strange it is with the kind of discussion we're having. Where indeed, we can tell with this very artificial situation, you made me change my mind. Yes? But that's only because we create this very artificial environment. We don't tell this, so much to the other people because generally, we defend our opinions, our ideas, our stuff, and even when we change, we'll pretend, like we did not, right? But that's I call that authenticity. To teach authenticity, teach the kids authenticity. You listen to the argument, propose yours, and you can always say, okay, after listening to you, okay, you make sense, and I change my mind. Fundamentally, That's to learn how to think together, yes? You like that?
Yes.
Is that brutal?
No.
No? Is that easy?
It was very easy.
Well, why don't we do it then in German? How come nobody tells her that? You're probably the first one that tells her. Well, how come?
I don't know.
Now I tell you, isn't it brutal the fact that we cannot recognize, tell someone, you made me change my mind? Is that brutal or is that nice?
Brutal because.
No, not because. Is that brutal or nice?
Brutal.
Brutal? God, you're more brutal than you thought. You're more Chinese than the Chinese. You okay?
Yeah.
Okay. But that's what I call thinking the unthinkable, right? First, oh my God. And then I think, well, let me see what this is telling me, right? You like that?
Yes.
Yes? So, okay. Huh? It's exotic, right? You know? But that's this idea. Because we all want to have a good conscience, right? I'm a good person, good intention, I do good things, right? And I like the idea there's always at least one student in your classroom that should not be with you. You should be with somebody else. For whatever reason. You find a reason. It's a good principle. Because good intention, and in philosophy you find a lot of that. How good conscience is the worst thing for thinking, behaving, for being conscious, right? Make sense to you, this idea?
Yep.
Oh, so, anyway. Any other question, comments about all this? Yes? About discussing, to the example? How are you?
Can I go back to that last point? I believe.
Did you notice you just asked me a question?
Yes.
Okay, repeat that question.
Can I go back to what?
No, let's see
discussed?
if you understand.
I understood everything. I heard everything and I understood it.
Did I finish my question?
No. Sorry.
Are you in a rush?
No.
Well then, why don't you let me ask my question?
Oh, I know. Sorry.
No, it's not a lesson in politeness,
Yeah.
but in patience, right? This impatient, is that only today or is that common?
Depends.
Okay. You don't know?
It can be on other occasions, yes.
I'm asking you if it's
Yes.
only today or
No.
it's something that you encounter periodically.
No.
No, you can
It's
vanilla or
not just
chocolate, you
that.
cannot say no, you say vanilla or chocolate. Is it something only today or something you encounter periodically?
It's not just today.
So you encounter it periodically?
Yes.
Yes, all right, so. I'll propose you a little work. Can you show us how impatience is brutal?
Impatience is.
How impatience is brutal? Because now we're in the theme of brutality,
Oh.
so I'm taking advantage of you to reconnect to everything. Can you show
It
us
doesn't allow.
how impatient is brutal?
It doesn't allow people to say what they need to say.
All right, so that's brutality.
Yes.
Suppose a child has this problem, yes? What will you propose for him to do? Will you let him speak, or will you say, you have to learn to wait? What would you do?
I'm trying to think of another word aside from.
No, see what you're doing again?
Yes.
I'm proposing to you, do you want your head cut off or to be hanged? And you say, I don't like to talk about that. I want to speak about something else.
Well, I tell
Listen
you
to the
why.
question again. Would you say, okay, see what you have to say, or would you say, you have to learn to wait? Which one would you do?
To wait.
All right. So say, thank you, Oscar, for inviting me to wait.
Thank you, Oscar, for inviting me to wait.
Yeah, no problem. It's a pleasure. Okay? So, let's go. Who has a question or a comment?
No, but I
Okay.
I
Tell me, thank you, Oscar, for asking me to wait. Say it again.
Thank you for asking.
No problem. It's a pleasure. Okay. So,
What you're doing here with us today is that would be our role in our classroom, yeah? So like keeping I guess, staying on course with the questions, like what was just happening here, that would be our role to ensure that it was going in the right direction. Am I on the right page, or?
you're so wrong. So wrong. I wonder what I'm doing here. Did I answer your question?
No.
What do you mean? You asked me if you're right, I tell you you're wrong. Did I answer your question or no?
I didn't, she did, but
No.
I didn't give a good
Wait. Did I answer your question, yes or no?
Yes.
All right, so say thank you.
Thank you, Oscar.
No problem.
May I
No.
ask
You see, children, you give them a gift, and they barely have it in their hand, they said, where's the other one? You know this?
Yes.
to do this to me? Yes, no?
Yes.
That's a little guilty. You know, look how we do this, right? You know, I share the problem. Instead of enjoying it, you know, what I would expect, it's strange what I just did to you, isn't it? Yes, no?
Yes.
So instead of say, wait a minute, what the hell is he doing? When you would expect at least like 10 seconds at least of saying, you know, what's going on? But I have another one, right? You know? So that's telling me, why should I answer you? Yeah, I give you a strange answer, as strange as I can do, and you have another one right. That means whatever I can do, you will not listen. Okay? That's the point with kids. Too often we answer children's question. I say, do not answer that question. I'll show you a different strategy for not answering the question. One I showed, you work it out. No? Now, all these things are different strategies. Like a strategy, it's never a rule always to apply. A strategy, like in the military or it's martial art, you use it when you think it's appropriate. So, when it's appropriate, that means you should not be scared of it. That means as well it should not be compulsory. There's different moves, okay? One move, you work it out. Aren't there some kids sometimes asking you a question, you think, work it out? Right? Okay, I'll give you a second. If you really think that's a problem, but you don't want to deal with it, okay, you say, there is a question, like I did, like we did with our friend here, say, who wants to solve a problem? She says, I don't make sense of that story. I say, okay, who wants to do it, right? So a couple of people help get us of the story, yes? Another one you say is, okay, say your question to me, all right? I listen to your question, and then we'll ask you, your question, what you asked me before, was it a question or was it not a question?
It wasn't a question.
Okay, what did you want actually?
I want to know the role.
No. You wanted to know.
I want to know.
No, when the question you asked me initially, remember I answered?
Yes.
No. Was it a question or no?
It wasn't.
So, what was it if it was not a question? And that's a classical. I love it. These are all I call it classics. Yeah, it's a classic. Did you notice it or no? No? Yes? No? All right. Well, that's typical, yeah? We don't listen to ourselves speaking. Who has recognized, what is your first name?
Celia.
Celia. Who has recognized what Celia was doing with this so-called question? Who has seen it? Raise your hand. Okay? And ask someone, and raise your hand, who wants to know? And ask someone raising their hand, what was I doing?
What was I doing? Sorry,
Kerry?
Kerry.
I believe you're clarifying the role of the provider, teacher, whoever.
She was clarifying. So if she clarifies, is that a question or not a question? Don't think too much. If somebody clarifies, is he asking a question? Or for you to clarify is to ask a question.
Yeah.
For whom it makes sense that to clarify is to ask a question, raise your hand. For whom it doesn't make sense, raise your hand. Ask someone why it doesn't make sense. But keep your hand up the ones who think it doesn't make sense. And don't cheat.
Mark, can you explain why it doesn't make sense?
Why it's not a question, the clarification, right? It's not a question because you just stated what you think.
All right. When you clarify, are you stating what you think? Yes or no?
Yes.
So, does that sound like a question? Yes or no?
No.
Good, thank you. Is he smart? Is he smart? Can I propose something to you, Carrie? I tell you what, there's a word you're going to ban for at least 1 week as an experience with vocabulary. It's the word but.
Okay.
You like that?
That's dangerous.
Buts are terrible.
Okay.
You like that? To ban buts for 1 week. You like that? It's an experience.
Okay.
You like that or no?
Okay, rise to the challenge.
No, do you like this or no?
Yes.
It's fun?
Yes.
Have you done it before?
No.
Why not? Don't answer. So, yeah? Okay. Is his analysis correct or not?
Yes. Yes.
Okay, just say, thank you.
Thank you, Mark.
All right. Is a clarification a question?
No, it's not.
No. So, were you clarifying when you were speaking?
Yes, I was.
All right. So, it was not a question.
No.
So, what were you trying to do by making it as a question? What did you want? You clarify, you make it sound as a question. What do you want?
I guess I was giving a possible answer to a
Yes,
question.
but what did you want from me?
I want you to agree with me.
Thank you. And what did I do?
You didn't.
Thank you. All right. Okay. Now, does my answer finally make sense? Or was I doing with my strange answer?
You're making me think about what I was doing.
All right, exactly. Yeah? But I was disappointing you.
Yes.
Thank you for encouraging me. Okay? And to disappoint is a fundamental tool of teaching. We are not mother hens. We are not providers of ready-made food. You know, like the mother hen, she chews the food, it's made and that, we're not, and that, of course, a tendency, to please the child, the child, to be the provider. There's a moment where, we have to teach him autonomy, and not just say, this. And in fact, don't you see children that do this in the classroom? Teacher, don't you think I'm right when I'm saying this? Can they do this? And what do you tell them? Say, yes, my little girl, this is so good. Anytime you want, ask me again. You say this? Or right?
Sometimes.
What?
You do what you need to do to get on through the day sometimes.
Yes, you do.
No?
Stop me
But
straight.
okay, so now that brings me up to something I forgot. I told you there are two legs to this philosophizing. One is the competency, I told you to problematize, conceptualize, and believe it. The other leg is attitude, working on attitude, and that has to do with this. See, like when you go play football, if you're like that on the bench, you're not in the attitude to play football. It's not an ethical problem, it's a practical problem, It's not immoral to sit like this. Maybe it's not very aesthetic, but it's not immoral, But it's just, you're not exactly ready for football, right? So what a teacher says is, stand up, run a little bit, warm up, get your energy going, right? As a preparation for the football game. In philosophy, the same thing. We need attitudes. So I'm saying this because I've picked up, among some of the Australian thing, one thing being probably Protestant tradition, ethics is very big. So it's not an ethical issue. Maybe there's an ethical connection, but it's not per se ethical. It really has to do with thinking. So first, attitude, very important. To be authentic. Authenticity. What does authenticity means? It doesn't mean sincerity, I really believe. No. It means be yourself. If you think something, think it. Say it. Don't worry, what does it sound like? I'm not sure. Please reassure me, all this. Say what you have to say. Don't apologize. I'm sorry, but I didn't agree. No. Just say what you have to say. Otherwise, we drown in all these preambles and careful things and all that. I said something wrong. Okay. So, ethical alarm things here. Say what you have to say, right? But of course, that's where you see maybe it's contrary to the ethics, because it's something, it's going to sound like I asked the kid, should you obey? Yesterday, a kid's 10-year-old, I was in school, in private school, and I wrote the question on the board. Should you obey, right? I get, contrary to the one should be probably Australian, the 15-year-old, they all said yes. Should you obey? I had one that said no. I said, okay, one. And of course, that became the side. She said, no, because if somebody tells you to jump off a bridge, you're not going to do it, she said, right? No, it's not. Or they'll say, yes. And you know what was the main reason, by the way, that you're going to like that, What the main reason was for obeying, that's because it's very culturally determined, It is because it's rude not to obey. It's rude not to obey. You like that? But who has taught them that, right? You did, right?
I'm very rude.
Okay. But anyway, you as a global you. That's interesting in society. Well, we teach children, okay, obey, because not to obey is rude, right? No, we don't want to be rude. So anyway, the reason I'm saying that, but then say what you have to say. Don't worry if you're rude, if you look stupid, if you're not sure, just say it. But to be authentic, otherwise we don't know what we're working with. So that's one. Second one, to be ignorant. Why be ignorant? We've seen it a bit, because if you know too much, you don't think anymore, right? When I'm asking you, what is 2 + 2, if you know, you don't think. Strange, it might sound strange, but to think, you have to be ignorant. Every time you know, you don't think. You just automatically, yes? No. So that's why thinking, we don't like. Thinking is uncertain. Knowledge, certain. I know. Certitude, yes? So thinking has to be. So one has to reconcile himself with his own incertitude, with his own ignorance. That's what Socrates said. I know that I don't know. That was the fundamental lesson of wisdom for him. Because then I can think. Then I can do critical thinking. If I know, I don't do critical thinking. Because I don't examine. I don't question. I know. And I know it's comfortable. So to be ignorant. Third thing, to confront. Right? to be able to confront each other. Confrontation is fun. You know, come on, let's go. Let's sort it out, right? It's not okay. Everybody's got his opinion, and I respect every opinion. You know, what can you do with that? You know, there are two ways to stop a conversation. One is you're wrong, I'm right, right? And the other one is okay. Well, you know your opinion, and I respect it. Okay, so neither, right? Let's sort it out together. Let's discuss. Let's compare arguments. Then we'll decide. Right? So confrontation. Fourth one is sympathy. Because if I don't have a minimum of sympathy with the other one, you know, we can't do anything. It's like when you play football, if you don't have a minimum of sympathy in the team doesn't work. So we need the minimum of sympathy for things to work, right? So I will go over, these are four. I mean, very important. The other one, yeah, settle down. Carrie, you like sweet. Settle down. Just settle down.
Oh,
Breathe.
because I've got lots of thoughts up here and you know, I'm a bit like,
Now, when you have a gift, you just say, thank you.
thank you.
No problem. I think more, okay. So,
I'm
settle
thinking.
down.
Right, and that's all the uncertainty.
Don't think. Settle down. Stop
But you're
thinking.
telling me to think.
The big vacuum. The big vacuum, you know? Vacuum cleaner, internal vacuum cleaner. Big vacuum, okay? Yes. So, settle down. And you know where the kids settling down? Important. So, suddenly, these attitudes. And in a certain way, especially at the beginning, when I first start doing the work, the attitudes is more important than anything else, right? If you don't have this, you cannot do competencies. You can't do. So you work a lot. And initially, when I first come in the classroom, you say, "Oh my God, it's slow," because in a way they say you haven't done anything. But yes, because you have to work on the attitude. Yes, and sometimes you work mainly on that. You know, work on attitudes. Because if you don't listen to each other, you don't calm down, you don't wait, you know, you can't do anything, right? So anyway, so to come back to that, so the kids that want to get reassured, well, bad news. I'm very bad at reassuring, and our job is not to reassure, it's to find good worries, good problems, yes, and like them, yeah? Okay? So that's the only idea. Any other comment, question, screen, anything? You feel better, Tess? Or no,
I
worse?
feel much better.
Much better.
Can I ask Sylvia
Okay, I
a question?
missed it then.
Can I ask Sylvia a question?
Go ahead.
Celia, sorry. Celia, has Oscar answered the question that I think you have?
Well, can you say that? Is that a question that you have done?
Has Oscar answered
No,
your
wait.
question?
Do you want to ask her a question or do you want to make a statement?
I want to ask her a question.
Then go ahead. Let's ask some other question. Go ahead.
Has Oscar answered your question?
Is that a question or no?
I think it's a question, but it's, it can be.
No,
It is a question.
It is a question. Who agrees that's a question? Raise your hand. Who think this is not a question? Raise your hand. Oh, very good. You scared everybody. Okay, so you want her to answer?
Yes, please.
What's the question she asked you?
She asked me if you answered my question that I had.
Is that it? Answer?
No.
She answered you? Do you agree with her?
Yes.
Yes. Okay. Who agrees with them that I did not answer the question? Raise your hand. At least you two raise your hand. It's got that pack going on. Yeah.
Oh, there's one coming up.
Hey, president, secretary. Okay. Okay. Treasurer. Okay. Who thinks I did answer the question? Raise your hand. Okay, keep your hand up and ask one another. Keep your hand up. Keep your hand up. And ask anybody sleeping, why are you sleeping? Somebody didn't raise your hand at all. Ask
Jill,
him.
why are you sleeping?
I can't remember the question.
Okay. So what's her problem?
Um,
How do you identify her difficulty? What is it?
the difficulty.
What? Does she have a problem now?
Yes,
What did she tell you?
she said she can't remember the question.
So what's her problem? If you're a teacher, you have students, or students I can't remember the question, what's her problem?
I need to repeat the question.
The what?
What's her problem?
Does she have one or no?
Yes.
What is her problem?
She's
Small
not
box?
listening. She's not listening.
She's not listening. Tell her you're not listening.
You're not listening. She
Alright.
was listening.
No.
My memory's
See,
very
but do this in the classroom. Instead of you telling them, hey, I told you. No. Let them work it out. Okay. Did you hear her?
Yes.
Is she right?
No.
Tell her you're wrong.
You're wrong.
So that means you have a different hypothesis.
Yes.
What is your hypothesis?
I was listening, but I can't remember the question.
So what is your problem?
I'm tired.
Okay. Do your students do this? Say, hey, you're not listening. I'm tired.
Sometimes.
Okay. Sometimes. Oh yeah. In Australia, what do you mean? Sometimes. Yes or no? Forgot.
A small yes.
Whistle. All right. Yeah. And by the way, what is the major difference? I'll tell you why it's interesting. What is the major difference between the you don't listen and you are tired? Huh? What is the main difference in those two explanations? Can somebody say? I am tired, I don't listen. What's the main difference? What is the issue between those two answers? Why she wants this one, not this one? What's at stake here? Can somebody say? If you know, raise your hand. Who knows? 2 people? 3? Okay, go ahead. There you go.
The issue of personal responsibility,
Okay. Is there personal responsibility in her statement?
which was you're
You
not
don't listen.
listening. You don't listen.
Is there
Yes,
personal
yes.
responsibility?
Yes.
I am tired. Is there personal responsibility?
No.
Ah, nice. You like that?
Yes.
Yes. And you'll notice, very often people don't want an explanation which implies personal responsibility. For example, are you coming with me? I cannot come. I have no time. It's not, I don't want to, right? It's not possible, right? And we do that often. We use objective reason, which don't imply any kind of personal responsibility. Okay? See? And by the way, there's a fundamental philosophical issue, subjective, objective. You know? The antinomies are very important in philosophy. You know? Here, subjective, objective. We got, remember earlier there, cyclical, linear, you know, finite, infinite, subjective, objective. There are not so many of these. By the way, I made a list of them. I have a book for children coming out in French at the end of the month, but antinomies presented to children. Drawing, yeah? It's very important, yes. You know. So anyway, personal responsibility or no? No personal responsibility. Yes. That was nice? Yeah. Yeah? Okay. So.
I think no.
So, who thinks that I did answer the question again? Raise your hand. Ask one of them. What was Oscar's answer?
Amy, what
No,
was
I didn't
Oscar's
have
answer?
that either. She did.
I
Scratching.
You're gonna get the Weasel Prize of the year. So, what was Oscar's answer?
Jill,
Um,
Cool. What time is the lunch, by the way?
1:30.
Okay. Yeah.
I think that you answered the question, but I can't really remember like when I was
No,
listening to
don't
it.
listen.
No,
Just say, in your head, what was the content of the answer? Go ahead. With your words, don't worry.
I honestly can't remember.
Honestly.
No, but
Did you say, no, repeat the first 2 words you
Hey,
said.
hey.
Hey, stop. Let's, this fruit, let's enjoy it. Let's, you know, let's savor the moment. First 2 words.
I honestly.
Yes. Now, what do you get when suddenly somebody tells you, I honestly, this little beautiful adverb, honestly? Why is it coming suddenly there? Do you know?
What?
Honestly, the word honestly, what is it doing here suddenly?
Well, I want to let you know that I really can't remember.
No,
because-
honestly, forget
But I was
remember.
sitting
Honestly.
there going, yes,
No,
yes.
honest.
And
No. Honestly. Get it? Honestly? Repeat the word honestly.
Honestly.
Yes. What is honestly doing here?
It's giving me a way out.
Why? No, but what does honesty have to do with this?
Because I'm telling the truth. I don't want to think
You're
I'm
telling,
weasel
okay,
my way out of it.
honesty is coming here to tell us you're telling the truth.
Yeah.
Yes?
Yes.
Do you start every sentence you say with honestly?
No.
No. So that means the other times you're not telling the truth? Is that it? Is that what's happening? Oh, so then why is honestly? So you have 2 possibilities, right? Either that means when you don't say honestly, you're
It was
being
perfect.
that point.
You were doing what?
Prolonging the sentence so I didn't have to get to the
So what was the purpose?
prolonging.
Yeah, but what's the purpose then of prolonging?
So I don't have
It's
to
a
get
step.
to the point where I
All
have
right.
to tell you what I was thinking.
One word to call that.
Procrastination.
Procrastination, yeah, okay. That's nice, right? It's called, like it's called principle of sufficient reason. Everything that is there has a reason to be. You like that?
Yeah. I don't know why I put it there.
Honestly. So honestly, do you know what Oscar answered to her or no? Yes or no, do you know?
Not really.
But
Not
when I was
really.
listening, I was going,
No.
yes, I absolutely agree, and now I can't
What's the difference between
remember
no
for the
and
life
not
of me what was
really?
said.
What's the difference between no, I don't know, and not really? What's the difference?
It's no.
What is the difference between saying, instead of saying no? Okay, ask me if I want to marry you.
Just say no.
Ask me. Just
Do you want to
see.
marry me?
Not really.
Too harsh.
No, maybe you give the clue. It's not really, not as harsh as no.
Yes.
All right, is that why you use not really rather than no?
Mm.
But we're thinking about your ignorance.
Mm.
So if it's not as harsh, why would somebody say, instead of saying I don't know, he say I don't really know? What is he trying to do with this non-harshness?
What's that saying?
Well, instead of saying I don't know, he says I don't really know. And we know that not really means it makes it less harsh. What is he trying to do?
Not be me.
But he's speaking about himself. I don't know, I don't really know.
Protect yourself.
Protect yourself, yes. Not being harsh with yourself. Now, is that honest or dishonest?
Dishonest.
But you said honestly.
Right?
Okay?
Okay.
Is that funny?
All
Alright? You like that?
I like it.
Funny, huh? You won't dare speak, you got it. So do you know? Yes.
No.
Oh, okay. Now we understand each other. Hey, that's business. Okay? Who knows what I answered our friend here? Raise your hand. So ask someone, what did Oscar answer?
Karen, what was Oscar doing?
It wasn't a question. Cecilia didn't ask a question.
You okay?
Yeah,
You're all friends here, actually.
I know you did answer something.
That's right,
Did I answer?
Sorry.
Why did you say sorry? No.
Yeah. Yeah, but I think you're applying something
Are you
different.
okay?
Yeah, no, but I'm applying
Did
something
Oscar
different.
answer something or no?
Yeah, you did answer.
Do you know what I answered or no?
You answered yes.
Do you know what I answered or no?
You answered yes.
No. Do you know?
Yes, I do know.
Oh,
Yes, I
okay.
do know.
What did I answer?
You answered yes.
Right. Does she make sense to you?
No.
Tell me. You don't make sense to me. Tell her.
Karen, what you're saying doesn't make sense to me.
Do you agree with her?
I agree.
Okay, good. That's the main point, is to be honest. Okay. Who wants to tell what I did answer? Ask somebody else. Third try, like baseball, three
Mark,
strike.
in a few words, what did Oscar answer?
You answered by showing us.
Can you say it again?
You answered the question by showing us.
Okay, and what did I show?
You showed how the teacher should be modelling or behaving.
All right. Do you understand what he's saying? Yes? Makes sense to you? Do you think he answered your question?
Keeping Mark. Yes, yes,
And do you agree with him?
yes.
Tell him, I'll be happy.
It's good, Mark.
By the way, it's an interesting distinction, and by the way, which bears a lot on this principle. Instead of answering with your words, answer with your acts. Yes? But the problem, and that's interesting, is to answer with the acts means the kids gotta think, what are you doing? Words, simple. But at the same time, it's more profound. Because children often, they will learn from what you do. more than what you say. I told them 100 times not to do this. Yes, but you know, are you in your acts doing what you're saying? You know, that's a lot, right? No? Right?
Oh, yeah, she said.
Is this your friend? All right. Is there any other, okay, globally, because we have about 15 to 20 minutes, so in other words, does anybody have comments, question? Does that, in terms of, to be practical a little bit, do you see connection with the work in the classroom? You don't? Is there any problem you see? I don't know. How are you? How are you feeling now? You better?
Come back.
No, I don't want to feel back. Do you like the work on patience or no?
No.
You don't like it?
No.
Do you want to like it?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
You take
I
5
will
minutes.
learn to like, no.
You take
No,
5
no, no.
minutes.
No, I do. I'm only joshing you.
Josie.
You're what? Judging.
Joshing.
Joshing.
Joking.
Oh, joshing. It means joking. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's an Australian word.
Yeah.
Yes.
Joshing. Oh, you're joshing.
Yes.
Yes?
Yes.
Okay. So what do you want to do now?
I just want to make a comment.
You want to make a good one or a bad one?
A good one mainly.
Why? What is it mainly? Okay, go ahead.
Can I
What? You have a fan club. She signs autographs.